The World Wide Web is the wild, wild west. But it's not. It is the open ocean. A space that we can jump in, swim, and roam freely. The internet and the ocean also has quite a bit in common. They have ecosystems that we want to preserve that we haven't even discovered. They also have great depths that we haven't even been to. And they, quite frankly, might have life forms we haven't encountered. Now, I work in higher education. I get the luxury of incorporating new technology as well as the internet in and outside the classroom. So I'm tainted, biased, because I see the good that it does. And one of the things that I notice as a baby boomer with 18 to 21-year-olds, 8 to 10 hours a day, is that they have mastered their online engagement, and they master their devices far better than me. But sometimes I wonder, wow, why is this happening? For instance, I give a 5-minute break when I teach an hour and 15-minute class. This week, I said, hey, let's take a 5-minute break. Stretch your legs, get a drink of water, maybe go to the restroom. What did they do? Whipped out that phone. No one left their seat. And for 5 minutes, that's what they did. I'm not questioning why they're doing it. In fact, I'm not going to tell you it's right or wrong. It is a byproduct of the fact that our connectivity is real. And that 5 minutes, which by the way, I sometimes am guilty of, is worthwhile for them and me, and maybe some of you in this audience. Neil Richards at Washington University in St. Louis said something in 2019 that made complete sense to me. And that is, we should be preparing every level of society to embrace the magical potential of new technology. But at the same time, we probably should be making everyone aware of how they can guard themselves against some chilling possibilities. Now, I took this to mean the time, the place, and the manner in which we engage online might have some pitfalls. Kind of like hurricane season along the Atlantic coast. The time that a storm hits, where it hits, and how it hits might determine whether we have any impact or not. So we're engaging in some really cool ways. I can do mobile banking on my phone. I can choose mobile streaming with or without ads. I can also do banking. I can do business with other companies. These are pretty magical, but the pitfalls are real. Things like malware, scams, sharks, those things are real. Maybe it's something that you think about, maybe it's not. So let me just point out, we're choosing to consent to engage online every day. In fact, so much so that more in the digital space than out of it. There are some times when we have to be made aware that it's not just us here, there are others. And that's what I want to spell out today in terms of what cautionary measures should we be taking, knowing that we're choosing and consenting to engage, but are we aware of the others that are engaging online with us? So the first example I'd like to give you, you know that free Wi-Fi in the airport? I travel a lot, and when I go to the airport 2 hours in advance, like they tell us to, I whip out my laptop and I do some things that I haven't had time to do all week long. But as I'm signing up for that free Wi-Fi, I'm ticking away. Yes, go ahead, target me for ads, collect my data. Yeah, just take everything while you're at it. When we think about the realities of free, be aware, free comes with a cost. Now, like some of you in this room, you may have gotten a notice from a company that their system had been breached and that your personal information may have been compromised. Really? I didn't do anything to make that happen. Fairly, they offer credit monitoring services and a protocol to follow in case my information gets misused. Okay, that's something, but I'm feeling pretty vulnerable here. My Social Security number, my financial information is out there to be used. Maybe I should have been more prepared for this scenario than I was, but it wasn't my system. Now, I make it sound like we're out here on our own. We're not. The government passes laws to regulate or not the things that they should or should not. Companies like banking institutions or social media, they are regulating their own environments. They're self-regulating, or they're hiring a third party to do it for them. Parents, you are the lifeguards, the safekeepers. You are keeping young people safe because you're choosing and consenting for them when they're not aware of the risk. But there's a fourth entity that I want you to be aware of, and that's organizations whose sole mission it is to make sure that we have the information we need to engage online, how, when, and where, and to also be very aware of who else is engaging online with us. Now, they do everything from education to training, but they're also advocating for putting media literacy in schools so that the youngest among us are prepared to address their daily digital lives better than we have been. Now, I'm convinced that preservation, when it comes to that wide open ocean, is necessary so that generations to come can enjoy those sensitive ecosystems that I see today. We are mitigating all the dangers in the ocean so that we can travel across it today and hopefully for generations to come. We should be looking at the internet and our online engagement in very much the same way. Mitigate the dangers so that we can participate, engage without worry, not just us, also future generations. So the bottom line is being informed, being armed with the right information is our best defense. And it's up to us in a couple of different ways. Educate yourself. There's lots of information online about how to stay safe and secure. Any one of these organizations that you see on the screen, and those you may look up through a web search, are more than willing to share their resources so that you have access to the most current information to stay safe and secure when you're engaging online. And the third thing that we should be keeping in mind is that our government has a role to play. You should be advocating for media literacy in the school systems so that we can, for future generations, be far more aware of the dangers we may encounter while we're engaged online. Now remember, it's magical, but there are pitfalls. And I think many of us choose to participate because we really like the magic. And if you can't tell, I do. But I'm also more aware of the pitfalls, and I want to stay aware of the pitfalls. So media literacy is our key, just like being able to read or write, to our future. After all, when I'm swimming with sharks, I'm prepared. Isn't that better than pretending they don't exist?